Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Gorilla Matt. Let's do this thing. Let's predict Week 18 winners and losers. The final week of the regular season in the NFL before the postseason playoffs start. I'm your boy Gorilla Matt. Let's do this thing. All right, live scene. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, hi, and welcome. I am Gorilla Matt, coming at you with the final week of predictions for the NFL season of 2021. This is an epic little song that we got going on. I found it on accident. It's got like 40 seconds left. Don't worry, we'll stop it now. Yeah, so I found that song on my Stream Deck, like, DMCA free song library thing, and I was like, wow, that's a bop. And so that's why I play that song quite a bit, because I really like it. Okay, so hey, hi, how you doing? I'm Gorilla Matt. Welcome here. You know, I don't think you can see me well enough, can you? Let's go face cam. Hey, hi. Okay, yeah, so listen. The final week of the regular season is upon us. Week 18 of the NFL's 2021 season. Last week to get into the playoffs, if you're not already in, if you're on the fringe of getting into the playoffs. And the last week before the playoffs. And I'm excited for the playoffs. Packers secured the number 1 seed last week when they beat Minnesota and Dallas lost. And not only did the Packers clinch the number 1 seed when they beat Minnesota, but they knocked Minnesota out of the playoff picture, and that was beautiful. Bye, Felicia. You won your Super Bowl earlier in the year when you beat us, okay? Now you can watch us from the comfort of your couch. Is this where I'm going to start talking shit? No. I'll be tolerable for this this video. When we are into the playoffs, I will be doing playoff prediction streams where I might go into a little more detail about why I think the different teams will win. But playoffs are always full of some upsets, and we could see some. And I'm hoping none of them involve my Packers, but hey, we'll get there. At least we have an extra week off to relax, Packer fans. All right, live scene. Let's do it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we kick off Saturday, tomorrow. Today's Friday. The 7th of January, 2022. So we kick off tomorrow. We got 2 games tomorrow in the evening, and then at night. We start off with the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. You know what? Before we even do this, hold on. Before we even do this, what am I doing here? Let's take a look at the playoff picture for those of you who are like, what's going on with the playoffs? Let's take a look. All right. So, in the AFC, the Titans have clinched the playoff spot. The Chiefs have clinched the playoff spot. The Bengals, the Bills, and the Patriots. Okay? Titans have got their divisions. They have the AFC South, AFC West, AFC North, AFC East is still to be decided between the Bills and the Patriots. Okay? There are 2 playoff spots left in the AFC. You've got the Colts and Chargers currently kind of holding a temporary playoff spot. You know, I think it's a win. I believe it's a win and you're in sort of thing. And then you've got the Raiders, Steelers, and Ravens sitting on the outside. The Ravens and Steelers, it's going to be tough for them to get into the playoffs. But not impossible. On the NFC, you've got the Packers. They have clinched the number 1 seed in their division, obviously. You've got the Rams. Have clinched the playoff spot, but have not clinched their division yet. You got the Buccaneers, who have clinched their division, and the Cowboys have clinched their division. The Cardinals and Eagles have also clinched playoff spots. So, for those of you who might be new to American football, and you might be going, okay, you clinched division, clinched the playoffs, who cares? Like, you're in the playoffs. Kind of, but not entirely true. When you clinch a division, you are guaranteed the 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed in the playoffs. And you're guaranteed at least 1 home game in the playoffs. So, the Buccaneers have clinched their division. They cannot finish worse than 4th seed. Same with the Cowboys. The Cowboys clinched their division. They can't be worse than the 4th seed. So even if these teams lost, Like, even say Arizona wins and let's say the Rams and Cardinals win because they're in the same division. Okay, the Rams would lock up the NFC West, and let's say the Cowboys lose and the Cardinals win. So the Cardinals would be at a 12-5 record, and the Cowboys would be at an 11-6 record. Because the Cowboys clinched their division, they would hold a better playoff seed than the Cardinals. So winning the division is super important because you get that home field advantage for at least one game. And for the Packers' sake, and right now the Titans, if you hold the number 1 seed going into the playoffs, for every playoff game you play in, you get to host in your home stadium. Huge home field advantage, especially if you look at these. Besides Philadelphia gets pretty cold in the winter. But let's say all of these teams, who's the 6, right? Okay, the 49ers have a chance to get in. So warm weather team, warm weather team, warm weather team, warm weather team, warm weather team. You're going to go up to Green Bay, Wisconsin to play in mid to late January? Yeah, it's going to be cold. Home field advantage. Your fans get to be there. Your fans get to cheer. Home field advantage, even if it's for just one game, clinching that division is helpful. So these are teams that right now, if the playoffs were to end right now, they would make the playoffs. But the work's not done yet. I would love to see the Chargers make the playoffs. I really want to see Justin Herbert get to the playoffs, and I would love to see him get a win. Steelers and Ravens have a long way to go to get into the playoffs. 8-8. Technically the worst record that's still available to get into the playoffs in the AFC. The Ravens have lost 5 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken. 5 games in a row. So they were 8-3 at one point. Like, they were at the top, and it's been a rough end of the season for Baltimore. Dealing with injuries, COVID, you name it. Steelers, again, they have a half-game lead over the Ravens with that tie, but it's still a long shot for both teams to get in. I anticipate right here. I mean, really, the winner of this game goes to the playoffs unless the Colts lose to the Jaguars. Then if they tie, I think they both go. It's kind of funky how those tiebreakers work. Saints have a little ways to get in, and the 49ers could. I'm interested to see how it shakes off. But that's the playoff picture for those of you guys who are wondering. All right, so now the games. So we start off on Saturday. Right now on the season, I am 156 guesses correct and 100 guesses wrong. So I'm just sitting at like a 66%-ish correct prediction. And I'm still a little salty about some of those games that are the losses for me, the incorrect guesses, because of the upsets. Like what? A lot of us got screwed with our predictions, but hey, that's football. That's football. So we start off on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. We got the Kansas City Chiefs going to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are not in the playoffs. They have been eliminated. The Chiefs are trying to get back into that number 1 seed because they lost. No, they beat the Cowboys. Wait, what happened last week? How did they lose their spot? I can't even remember. They lost to the Bengals. That's who they lost to. They lost to the Bengals. They beat the Cowboys 2 weeks ago. Right? Week 16? What? Am I... Hold on a second. Who did the Cowboys lose to last week? I can't even keep track of things. The Cardinals. They lost to the Cardinals. Why was I thinking the Chiefs? Because the Chiefs lost to the Bengals last week. I can't even keep my game straight. This is what being a night shift worker does to you. Okay. So, because the Chiefs lost to the Bengals last week, the Chiefs lost that number 1 seed. For now, there's still a way for the Chiefs to get back in it, but Tennessee, all Tennessee has to do is win in it, and they're the number 1 seed. So, the Chiefs want to win and hope Tennessee loses. I think the Chiefs get this win. I see no reason why Denver gets this win other than they're fighting to try to get closer to 500, but they're ending with a losing season. I mean, if I was the Broncos, you don't want to... every player wants to win. It's a pride thing. They want to make sure they're putting out good tape so that if they're on a contract year and they don't get re-signed by their team, that other teams will see the great things that they do on the field. But if I was Denver, I would just lose. Get a better draft pick. Come on. But that's not the reality. It's too competitive. There's too much integrity for the game. Next, you have the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a tough one for me because Philadelphia's kind of come. I mean, Philadelphia's not looking too bad. I mean, the Cowboys have clinched the division, so no matter what, they're gonna, like I said, host a home game. But I wouldn't mind seeing an Eagles win here. But I honestly think the Cowboys get the win. I do think, I will say this, I do think if the Eagles get the win, I think the Cowboys are a one and done in the playoffs. I think it'll be tough for them to get their momentum back. The Cowboys have just been so inconsistent at times. Like, they're playing really well when they're playing really well, and then there are times where you're just like, what are you doing, Dallas? But Dallas is one of those teams that can flip it like that and take off. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys here because I really do think the Cowboys get this win and finish 12-5, which is a fantastic record. Definitely a record Cowboy fans should be proud of, and I hope for Dallas's sake they make a decent playoff push. One of the matchups I would love to see in the playoffs is the Green Bay Packers hosting the Dallas Cowboys in Lambeau. I think that'd be a really fun game, whether that's at the divisional level or the conference championship level. I think it'd be a good game to see Mike McCarthy come back to Green Bay. Woo! Next, you have the Packers at the Lions. Packers. And it doesn't even matter if the Packers lose; they're still the number one seed. Next, you have the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I heard a stat, and I could be mistaken. So bear with me if I'm wrong with this, and feel free to fact check me and let me know in the comments down below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching the VOD of this. Let me know in my next live stream on Twitch. I read somewhere like the Colts have lost like a handful of games in a row in Jacksonville to the Jaguars. I thought that was a very interesting stat. That being said, I do not think the Colts lose to Jacksonville on Sunday. I think the Colts get the win, secure their spot in the playoffs, and they're going to be one of those teams. I think they'll be 10-7 going into the playoffs. And you're like, okay, I mean, it's a winning record, but I don't think their record reflects just how talented that Indianapolis Colts team is. And hey, you know what? If the Jaguars lose, I'm pretty sure that secures the number one draft pick for them, the number one overall draft pick for them. And, you had it last year. You got Trevor Lawrence. Hey, use it this year and get Trevor Lawrence some help. I think the Jaguars will be good within the next few years. I really do. It sucks that this was Trevor Lawrence's first year in the NFL, but it's a humbling year for him. I mean, he's a natural born leader. He's a winner. His first football regular season loss came this year at the professional level. That's insane. He'll be back on top in a little bit. Next, you have the Washington football team visiting the New York Giants. I'm going with Washington here. I think they fight hard for Ron Rivera to get to seven wins on the year. Next, you have the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know. I'm going to go Bears here. Because I want the Bears to beat the Vikings. Because I just think that'd be funny. Mike Zimmer is likely on his way out of Minnesota. But I think if he wants another job in the NFL as like a defensive coordinator would be fantastic. He'll get it. Next, you have the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. And look. Houston has gotten some wins this year where you're like, how the hell did you get that win? Tennessee wins, and they secure the number one seed. They're possibly getting Derrick Henry back this week, if not this week, for the playoffs. The Titans are going to be a dangerous team in the AFC. The Titans are going to be a dangerous team in the AFC, and I think they're going to be so much fun to watch. I'm going Titans here. A small part of me really wants there to just be absolute chaos in the AFC and just have all the upsets that you could possibly have to make the playoffs even more interesting. But for the sake of sanity, I'm going to go with the Titans here. Next, you have the Steelers at the Ravens. Big Ben's last regular season game. I bet against Ben last week. I picked the Browns. And if I don't know if I just wasn't really thinking too much of, hey, it was Ben's last game at home in Pittsburgh. But the Ravens have lost 5 in a row. Okay? Do they lose 6 in a row? That's the question. I don't think so. I'm going to go Ravens here. But I could see this going either way. I just now realized how, like, white, like how pasty white my my ring light was making me look. My gosh, why didn't you guys tell me? Come on now. I think the Ravens get the win, but I could see this game going either way. Then you have the Browns and Bengals. The Bengals traveling to Cleveland. I want to see the Bengals get this win. I think the Bengals can get this win. However, I'm pretty sure I've read some reports that a lot of the Bengals starters are going to be resting this week for the playoffs. Also, Baker Mayfield is going to be out for the Browns, and Case Keenum's going to be starting. Baker's going to go have his shoulder surgery on his left arm. You know, I'm going to go Bengals here. And this is why I'm going Bengals. And I hate saying that because I think Myles Garrett and that defense are going to be fighting hard for a win out of pride. But this is why I'm picking the Bengals. The play calling for the Browns last week was very questionable. You have Nick Chubb on your team. And you were just not utilizing him. Now, there's been some reports like, oh, they were saving him for next year. They were already eliminated from the playoffs. Okay, I get it, but at the same time, that's stupid. And then also, like, they couldn't stop Baker Mayfield from getting sacked. They were not protecting the edge. The Browns' defense was playing decently, but you know, I'm going with the Bengals. There we go. That's where we are. Next, you have the San Francisco 49ers traveling to LA to play the Rams. Both teams. Now, the Rams have clinched a playoff spot. The 49ers haven't quite clinched a playoff spot. I think this is going to be a low-key good game. I think this is going to be one of those games where you're like, okay, obviously it's like a playoff implication. Like these teams could potentially meet in the playoffs at some point. But, you know, I'm going to go with the Rams here. That being said, I could see it going either way. The reason I'm picking the Rams is because they're playing at home, and I really like the Rams' defense. My concern with the Rams right now is the offense, and it's Matthew Stafford. He's had a lot of turnovers these last few weeks, and he's a fantastic quarterback. Fantastic quarterback. There's no denying that, but he's had a rough kind of last few weeks, but when he gets it, he gets it. I'm going to go with the Rams because I think he gets it. We got the Panthers traveling to Tampa. There's so much drama right now going on in Tampa regarding the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization and Antonio Brown. It's a complete clusterfuck. I would love to see the Panthers get the win here, but they're playing at home. Like, come on. And Tom Brady will keep everybody focused. I'm going with the Bucs. But I would love to see a Panthers upset. Next, you have the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Arizona. Now, Arizona is hoping that the 49ers get the win over the Rams. And then, obviously, to get the win over the Seahawks. Because then the Cardinals can clinch the NFC West. I do think the Cardinals get the win, but I also think the Rams get the win. So I think the Cardinals will end up being a wild card team and have to travel around. And that's just how it is. But hey, they're in the playoffs. And ultimately, the playoffs are an entirely new season. Anything can happen. Next, you have the New England Patriots traveling to Miami to play the Dolphins. Both the Bills and the Patriots need a win. They are tied. I think Buffalo right now holds the tiebreaker over New England. Let's take a peek, because I actually don't remember, and I know we looked at this earlier. I think New England, yeah. So the Bills hold the tiebreaker over New England. So if the Bills win, Bills win the division. If the Bills lose and the Patriots win, the Patriots win the division. So these will be some cool games to kind of keep an eye on. Even though they're playing the Jets, even though they're playing the Dolphins, both of these teams want to win. Both teams have guaranteed their spot in the playoffs. It's just, hey, who's going to have home field advantage at least one game, you know? And I think there's actually a way for the Patriots. Where's it? There's a way I think that each team could get the number one seed, but I think Tennessee has it kind of locked up pretty much. As long as Tennessee wins, it's over, and they get the number one seed. But if Tennessee loses, the AFC playoff picture is going to be very interesting. As far as the Dolphins and Patriots go, I'm going. I kind of want to go the Dolphins. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to go Dolphins. New England historically kind of has some issues with Miami from time to time, but it's the Patriots. I'm gonna go Patriots. I feel like that's the safe pick, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Who gives a shit? Next, you have the New Orleans Saints traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons. The Saints are also in that NFC playoff picture, hoping that a lot of things go wrong for other teams so that they can sneak into the playoffs. I do think the Saints will put up a fight. Do I think they get the win? I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say the Saints get the win. This is probably one of the toughest weeks I have, prediction-wise. I really am not sure on a handful of these. I'm going to go Bills. That's a pretty easy pick for me. And then the last game of the week, Sunday night, which I actually think this is going to be a fantastic game, is the Chargers at the Raiders. And I think the Chargers get the win. I think the Chargers get the win and punch their ticket into the playoffs. Those are my picks. I don't feel I'm glad this isn't like a confidence league that I'm in, like my buddy Gino's in, where you have to like assign confidence points to like, I'm going to give all my points to the Packers beating the Lions. I think, it's not like that. Like, I'm going to give a few of my confidence points to this team because I'd be screwed because I don't even know who I'm like super confident about this week. But hey, that's the game of football. All right, so let's do a quick run through, and then we'll transfer. We'll end the stream, and then I will transfer this video over to the YouTube channel Grillamat TV. If you're watching this on Twitch and you're like, "Whoa, Grillamat, you have a YouTube?" Yes, I do. Grillamat TV. Please consider dropping a subscription over there. It's free on YouTube to subscribe, whereas on Twitch it's not. On Twitch, please consider following. Following is the equivalent of subbing on YouTube. On Twitch, we just passed 1,000 followers. We're actually, I think we're at like 1,010 or something like that right now. It's crazy, and I'm so grateful and so thankful. So to all of you who are watching either live or with the VOD or on YouTube, anyone who has supported me over the years of streaming that I've done, we're just getting started, baby. So thank you. Let's run through these predictions and then end stream so I can go to bed because I work tonight and I've been up all night. Let's do it. All right, we got the Chiefs, we got the Cowboys, we got the Packers, the Colts, the Washington football team, the Bears, the Titans, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Saints, the Bills, and the Chargers. Those are my picks. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys next time. Go Pack Go.